and methods to eliminate house dust is ineffective. So we're not eliminating the dust. So let me back up a little bit because this all transitions between the last page that's on there. But so the rainbow is going to scrub and wash your air. It's not just going to deodorize. It's going to sanitize and it's going to aromatize. Hey, it's also a dry air vaporizer. And between the 4 to 5 things that's doing, what do you like most about it?
You're the one that uses it.
I like that vaporizing thing.
The vaporizing aspect of it. See, that's my favorite aspect of it. A lot of times if I'm congested, I'll put this across in the bed at night, put a little bit of eucalyptus oil on a clean air stream at the bed all night long. Wake up feeling so much more refreshed. Now, what do you like most about it?
Well, I like the idea that it cleans the air.
That is cleaning the air, it's doing a lot of your dusting for you. So, the great thing about the rainbow is you can put a rainbow in every single room of the house and never control the dirt, dust, and allergen levels. As clean as the air is coming back out of this machine. I kind of say it's like taking an aspirin for a headache. Makes you feel better, but if you put air filters in every single room of the house and then you stir the stuff back up again, have you gotten rid of it? See, it's kind of like if you went outside and you pulled the weed but you don't get the root. It's just going to come right back again. So in 1936, the only thing that this machine did is it was an air filter for about 4 years. By 1940, we discovered you have to get the source of the problem. And my grandmother had a famous saying when I was growing up. She'd tell me, Daniel Wesley Shanks, get out of my kitchen. I'm sweeping up a storm, right? Which isn't far from the truth. And then when you dust, what do you do with the dust?
Relocate it.
You move it from one place to another. So ultimately, what are you getting for your time, your energy, and your effort?
Tired.
Ultimately, how does it make you feel? Tired.
Tired.
So you're not eliminating the dirt. You're simply just moving a lot of the stuff around. So if you would, let's go ahead and take a look at your vacuum. At that point, I stand up.
It's right over there in the corner.
They're all in my office.
Awesome. How long have you had the vacuum for?
Really.
What is it, a
Hoover, don't move.
wind tunnel, a Hoover? What do you like most about it?
It makes a lot of it easy to push around. Yeah.
Easy to push
Easy
around?
to push around. Yeah.
I take it you do most of the cleaning in the house?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what don't you like about it?
It's loud.
It's loud. It's stinky.
The noise.
Yeah.
But all dry vacuum cleaners have 4 basic parts. So they all have an intake, a motor, a filtering device, and they have an exhaust. Now, there is no difference, and most of us don't take a course on vacuonomics in high school or college. We don't really think about how the vacuum cleaner works. But there is literally no difference between a Kirby, a Dyson, an Electrolux, or an El Cheapo from Walmart. The only difference is you own that Kirby. That thing's built to last. You rent the El Cheapo. So the cost nowadays is usually about $100 a year on vacuums. How long have you had this one for?
About 6 months.
About 6 months. How much did that one cost you?
A little over 400.
A little over $400. What did you have before the Hoover?
Pardon?
What did you have before the Hoover?
Abyssal.
Abyssal. And how long that one last you for?
About 6 months.
And how much that one cost you?
About 450.
Wow. So you're buying about 2 a year, spending $800 a year probably. In 10 years, that's already $8,000 that you spent. And even if you bought an El Cheapo every year for $100, you know, cut back, that's still $1,000 in a 10-year period. Even if you bought a $1,000 Electrolux or you buy a Kirby that lasts you 30 years, it's still about right now the cost about $100 a year on a vacuum cleaner. But the fact is, many vacuum cleaners actually contribute to unhealthy living conditions. If the air is coming back in this machine, would you agree that the air has to exit?
Sure.
So I'm going to shine the lamp on the bag here, and if you see the light getting through there, the air can get through as well. Now the other spots on there that are plugged up, that's the spots, I'll cover that here in a second, that's the spot that the air can't come back out. But the problem is if air comes in, what else is coming back through?
Dust.
Is that healthy or unhealthy?
Now, that's unhealthy.
And a lot of folks say that's just the dust, but where do you store a vacuum cleaner in?
In the closet.
Would you agree that the stuff in here, that's a portable trash can?
Yeah.
Vacuum up food particles, crumbs, late night snacks, the left leg of the cricket. You store it in a closet. My jokes don't get any better than that.
No way.
But you
Be
store it
here all
inside
week.
the closet. What would happen if you took your trash can and kept throwing the closet over and over again?
Ooh, that'd get nasty.
Start to develop a pretty nasty odor, right?
Yeah.
And I believe God gave us odors to tell us when something's bad. So if you rip the cap off the milk and it doesn't smell too good, what's causing that odor? The milk or the bacteria?
Bacteria.
And you think about it, the meat or the steak or anything else that starts to develop bad odor, it's just the bacteria that's growing inside of here. So what happens is the stuff starts decomposing. I believe there's a doctor wrote a book titled The Secret Life of Germs. He's from New York. But in the book, he actually tells a story about a family that kept getting salmonella. It'd go away, it'd just keep coming back again. What they eventually discovered was that they had vacuumed up something in their kitchen with the vacuum cleaner and was harboring salmonella inside there. They were sending clean, fresh air through the vacuum cleaner and then crop dusting that essentially back out into the house. So essentially, every time you turn this thing on, there's all sorts of filters that are in here. You end up taking clean, fresh air, pouring it through all that filth that's in there, and then you end up pumping that back out into the house.
You
So
gotta
I
go
never
out.
took a course on
Go in there.
economics.
Vacuum kill for
It's the hardest part of my job.
There you go.
Now, I don't know where the air is coming out on this thing.
Right there. Where that clear thing
gonna-
is.
It's gonna come out through the side.
Yeah, Daniel, it's on the side by the hose.
Okay. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what I want y'all to do is I want you to look right up here and here. And when I turn this on, you're either going to see it or you're going to smell it. How can you clean like that?
Yeah. How can you clean like that?
You see why you always have to dust?
Always cleaning the dark room.
How often do you clean? Is it once a week or
A couple of times a week.
a couple of times a week? I'll share this here with you here in a little bit, but there's no difference. Or it's actually worse to clean than it is to actually not clean. But Dr. Alfred Zam wrote a book on this titled Why Your House May Endanger Your Health. And he actually states don't use dusters, mops, or brooms because you're sweeping up a storm. You're sweeping all stuff in there. But he states we're building our homes like a Ziploc baggie. It's an occupational hazard to clean the house. And he states most vacuum cleaners, like you just saw with this one, pollute more than they clean. But what do you like to drink? Water?
Water.
Tea? Soda? Water. Let's say I took some fresh water, we got something floating around in there, hey, I'm gonna filter it for you. So I pour it in the front of this vacuum cleaner, through every filter in this machine, the bag and the two filters, and back into a cup, and you drink it.
No.
Why not? It's filtered.
No.
It's a silly question, right? But it'd probably look like Texas tea coming back out the other end. And if you want to drink the sludge coming back out, I always ask, why would we want to breathe this stuff as well? And that's exactly what Dr. Alfred Zam is saying, is that the finer you make the holes in the bag, the finer you make the dust, the easier it is to breathe in, get past our body's defense, and that can, I'm sure you'd agree, develop headaches, nausea, other breathing-related symptoms as well. Next problem is to deal with suction versus airflow. In fact, what is the difference?
Can we pause real quick, Daniel?
Yep.
Okay, so who's questions for Daniel on his backfill? I know you guys got questions. Who's got a comment?
How are you turning that on?
Okay, so April, tell me what you like about Daniel's backfill.
I like the, pour the water through the filters.
Very much so.
Yes, and would you drink that, you know?
Would you guys like Daniel to say that one more time? Because I think some of you guys got your notepads out, and I knew some of you guys wanted to write that down, that was so powerful, and we didn't give you enough time to write it down. So why don't we go ahead and do that, Daniel? Okay, so can you walk through the filter again? Our favorite drink is water.
Okay.
And I think some of you guys want.
I may throw it.
Daniel, some of you guys up front want you to turn the rainbow on high just real quick. Or low, maybe. Low or high.
Yeah, blow it to them.
Sorry about that, it's necessary evil. But where I throw that in at, I try not to sound scripted, so my demos never, like, I'll throw stuff in, who knows where. But like that one there, I just try to get it in somewhere, and it could be on this page, it could be after I talk about Dr. Offered Exam and then go into the other page. But it's usually towards the end of this page where I say, each time you run your vacuum cleaner, odors, bacteria, unhealthy air emitted back into the home environment. So at that point I ask them, what's your favorite drink? Or beverage, and I'll say non-alcoholic, unless it's your first drink. But that's why I started saying, hey, do you like water? Do you like tea? Do you like soda? Giving them a choice. And at that point, they'll say, I like water, I like tea, soda, doesn't matter. But if I took your favorite drink and I poured it inside the vacuum cleaner and poured it through every filter in that machine and back into a cup, they have a Dyson, I think there's like 13 filters or some of those, but would you still drink it? Why not? And I kind of say it joking, like, well, why not? It was filtered.
Yeah.
And I usually laugh and say, hey, it's a silly question, right? But it looked like Texas tea coming back out the other end. And if you want to drink, it gives them a big visual in their head, like, yeah, kind of disgusting. And if you want to drink it, why would you want to breathe it? And one thing I didn't add in there is, hey, I'm no doctor. I'm not going to, I'm no doctor, but I'm sure if I asked a doctor if I should drink the concoction coming out of there or breathe it, he'd probably look at me like I'm crazy and tell me to drink it. And the only reason I say that is our stomachs have acids and enzymes to break all that stuff down. But what do our lungs have? You might get monocytes revenge or get a stomach ache or something. But what's going to happen when you breathe all this stuff in?
Goes in your bloodstream.
Healthy or unhealthy?
Unhealthy.
Sanitary or unsanitary?
Unsanitary.
Very good. Who else has a question or comment for Daniel on vacuum? Excellent.
Would you say the smaller the holes, the finer the particles?
Yeah, I usually say that and transition over to the next page on there, because after I talk about Dr. Offered Exam, the problem is we're just breaking the stuff down into finer and finer material. So the finer you make the hole, the more you may be trying to trap more stuff, but you're just breaking it down to a microscopic dust. And the smaller you make the hole, the smaller you make the dust. And you see how that'd be easier to breathe in.
Good point.
Yeah.
Powerful point.
Good stuff. Thank you, sir. For a mini vacuum?
Yep,
This mini vacuum.
Do you need some upholstered furniture up there?
I got some right here.
All right.
All right, so for the next page on here, suction versus airflow, what's the difference? Now again, most of us don't take that course on vacuumomics. So you probably didn't lie awake last night pondering how vacuum cleaners work. And if I'm in the house and I may say I'll fall off the wheels at this point, say in 1936, the only thing that this machine did is it was an air filter. But by 1940, you found, hey, you have to get the source of the dust. So the first thing it did is we added a set of wheels. And the great thing is this has a 5-wheel drive instead of a 4-wheel drive. So that makes it counterbalanced, so it's not going to tip over. And then we added a hose to the machine. Now when I add the hose to the rainbow, what does that turn your rainbow into now?
Household cleaning is
A vacuum, right? It doesn't matter what it is. I would say most folks will say, Daniel, you turned it into a vacuum cleaner. And they're right in the sense that it is replacing the vacuum, but what does it have unlike any other vacuum?
Water.
So you saw how your vacuum, when I turned that thing on, was just crop dust in your house. You don't get that with water. And a lot of folks, when I ask them, one thing I left out too is when I ask them, and I may throw it in here if I forget, but if I pour Dr. Pepper, for instance, through this rainbow, that water will absorb 100% of whatever thing you throw in there. You're still getting 100% clean, fresh water washed out the bag. The problem with the filter is that it's going to break it down, and it's going to come back out with everything else with it. So it's still a certifiable air cleaning system, but it's an air cleaner that is addressing the source of the problem. So that way you get it before it comes up in a year. So to turn, I'm going to basically put a cloth in here, and that's going to represent our bird. And Al, maybe you can help me out right here real quick. But if I can have you hold this, I'm going to let gravity help it out. I'm going to push this a little bit further in there and give it a head start. I want you to put your hand over there, but don't let any airflow through that tube. Let me know when you feel some suction. Oh, it's sticking. So if suction does the cleaning, where should that cloth be at? Down the hose and in the water. What are we missing? Airflow. Airflow. Take your hand off. And see, that's all you need is just a little bit of air movement in order to do any sort of cleaning. So you always watch the commercials that pick up 10-pound bowling balls, 8-pound ball-headed babies. They're always telling us we need plenty of suction to do the cleaning. Well, suction's great if you actually reach down and grab onto something and lift it up off the ground and it's big. But the problem is your dirt's microscopic. You can't actually reach down and grab onto it. Plus, it's all the way down underneath the carpet. It's in between your floorboards. It's in the places you can't get it. So if we have suction, we're missing airflow, agreed? But if we have airflow, what are we missing? So you can only have one or the other, and with air movement, all you have to do is just get close to something in order to do your cleaning. At this point, I put the gloss in here. I let them know this is going to represent the rainbow's lungs. And in fact, this is all the stuff that we end up breathing out of a traditional vacuum cleaner filter. In fact, if I have you look closely, some people have said they see it breathing. So my jaw's don't get much better. And usually I'll fill the water if it's slightly above the dome. Whenever I do that, they'll see it moving up and down pretty good with the air movement. And that's going to show us the type of air quality that we breathe in back out of the rainbow. So at this point, the Rainbow cleaning system, again, it's a certified air cleaning system, but we are addressing the source of the problem. So at this point, what I'll do, and I don't know if you want me to just kind of save some time, but essentially at this point, I'll pull out all the wands and accessories and all that stuff. First thing I'll do is I'll pull out the two wands and connect them on here, and then I'll just flip through the page. And one thing I'm just trying to do when I flip through the book is I'm not trying to memorize anything. Like if they're watching me do it, they actually see me pull the page up and pull out the attachment. So at that point, I'll pull out the floor and the wall brush. Hey, it's made out of horsehair. It's very soft, non-abrasive, not going to scratch anything up. I'll pull one and then, hey, come give it a try real quick. How easy was that? And hey, don't let them have all the fun. Come over here. Hey, go ahead and get the wall with it. So I'll have them do the floor, the wall, and then maybe on top of a ceiling fan blade or on top of a mantle or something like that. The crevice tool, great for when someone falls asleep on the couch and you want to go shopping. Down in the pocket.
That's what I think.
So, hey, it's great for any hard to reach spot. So you get down to couch cushions. So I'll get, basically with that one, I'll get along the edge of the baseboard. I'll have them try it, and a couple baseboards as well. And then I have the dusting brush. So I'll pull the dusting brush out, put it on there. My favorite use for this dusting brush, and again, I still have the two wands on there. I turn it upside down on there, and I get along the edge of the baseboard. So you can do that dressed for church for work. You don't have to get on your hands and knees. How much more efficient would that be for you cleaning the baseboards?
Be great.
Save you a lot of time, right?
A lot of time.
And then I'll get the ceiling fan blade with it. I end up doing like a crisscross action on there. Makes it look pretty easy for them, and then I'll have them try it on a lampshade or something else. So at this point, I will pull back out my Teflon. And again, basically we've been using filters the entire time, and that would be kind of nasty. I'm sure y'all know from experience. But that thing's pretty dirty at that point. Hey, again, I'm no doctor. I'm not going to say vacuums cause lung cancer. But you see how if you're constantly breathing in the bacteria, the germs, the diseases and stuff that are inside that vacuum, you see how it could. So I'll show you the back one here in a little bit at the very end. But at that point, I go to the upholstered brush. And the upholstered brush at that point is my cue to basically go into my mini bag. And again, no two demos are the same. Usually what I've started doing is actually on this page here. That's when I ask them, what does the Rainbow have that's unlike any other vacuum? And that's where I usually throw it in. It's right here. And they'll say the water. So hey, turn this into or maybe we remind them, hey, again, the Rainbow only has water. So in order to turn this into a vacuum, I'm sure you'd agree I have to put some sort of dry filter on this machine. So I'm going to create a miniature vacuum cleaner bag. And I'm sure y'all would agree that in order to fill this up completely and stop it from working, it'd take a couple tablespoons of dirt. Would you agree?
Sure.
Yes.
So what I'd like you to do is hang on to a corner of this cloth. Don't let go of it. It's going to try to yank that out of your hand. And I'll usually give that to everybody. But if they have kids, I'll give it to all 7 kids as well. I give it to everybody just because I try to engage everybody. I try to make eye contact there. I'm trying to leave anybody out. So at that point, I'll turn the machine on. I may, at that point, just flip back to this page again, just to remind them about the suction airflow. And that's how I get it in a couple times, because I don't just want to talk about suction versus airflow once, because they may not understand it. So I try to do it a couple different ways. But I'll come back to this page when I turn this thing on. See if I have my airflow meter.
AKA.
$7.99 at Cracker Barrel.
We-
But essentially, we're going to represent 3 things on there. So the first thing is we have plenty of cleaning ability. So if I put the cloth up there, I'm sure you'd agree with this brand new filter on here. I have no lack of cleaning ability. I don't let it go. But if that was a piece of dirt or a string or anything on the carpet, it would be in that filter at that point. Well, let's test our air movement. And you can see we have a lot of airflow through there. I may have put a couple fingers in there. But hold your arm out for me. So if you can pull your sleeve up a little bit. That way I get a good seal on there. And I usually monkey see, monkey do. I'll put my hand out so I'll do it as well. But here, hold your arm out for me. Would you grab plenty of suction? Yes. So let me go ahead and do some cleaning. You hear that motor starting to whine? What am I getting from, what do you think I'm getting with my time, energy, and effort now? Now before I had a lot of cleaning ability. What about now? See, before I was trying to yank this thing in. Well, what's happened to my air movement? Playing the blues. But you know one thing we haven't lost? Hold your arm out. Now give it a second. Have I lost any suction? No. Now, it may take a little bit longer to suck all the air out of here. But I'm sure you'd agree once I suck all the air out, I have the same difference in air pressure inside and outside. So when Dyson says my vacuum never loses suction, he's not lying to you. It's a truthful statement. But do you think it's the amount of suction we have? Hold your arm out again. Would you say it's the suction? Or would you say it's the amount of air movement that does your cleaning? Air movement. Now before you said this thing should be full by the time it stopped working. Let's take a look at it. That's odd. Just lightly coated and clogged with a thin layer of dirt and dust. And see, that's all that it takes to stop the vacuum cleaner from working. See, that's the problem with the vacuum cleaner is if you plug up 50% of the holes in your filter, how much of the airflow have you blocked?
50%.
50%.
If you block 50% of the airflow, what are you getting for your time, energy, and effort?
100%.
If you're only getting 50% cleaning. So, probably phrased that wrong. So if you, let me start over. Still a little nervous. But if you plugged up 50% of the holes in the filter, how much airflow have you blocked?
50%.
And if you block 50% of your airflow, what have you done with your cleaning ability?
Cut it in half.
And if you cut your cleaning ability in half, what are you getting for your time, energy, and effort?
Wasting
And ultimately, how does it make you feel? So I'm going to do this one more time. A lot of times folks are like, Daniel, you did not pull that out of my chair. So let me just show you there's nothing planted inside of there right now. Again, we have a lot of cleaning ability. You drop a couple fingers in there, you can feel we have plenty of air movement. And again, hold your arm out, and when you grab plenty of absolutely. So let me go ahead and do some cleaning. Now, if we look in there, it looks like my air's not really turning anymore. Would you grab blocking my airflow? What have I lost?
The air's barely moving.
Okay, you can barely feel it at all. We definitely can't hear it. But hold your arm out. And again, give it a second. It may take a little bit longer to suck all the air out, but when Dyson again says my vacuum never loses suction, he's not lying to you. It's a truthful statement. It's just a purposely misleading statement. Because again, is it really suction or is it airflow that does all your cleaning?
Airflow.
And you're right, because see, down here I have a lot of airflow and I have a lot of cleaning ability. Up here I have no air movement and no cleaning ability. So between here and here I've got a problem. What is the problem? Filter. So if you're ever going to get rid of the problem, what would you need to get rid of? Filter. And see, no bag, no filter, no problem. Once we eliminate the filter, we've eliminated the problem. Now here's one thing this is something I picked up from Alan that I really liked. But at this point, I will fold this up like a bag. And this is where I just re-remind him again, because I said something a little earlier in passing, but there's only one difference between a person that cleans 12 times a year. And then sometimes they go out to the house and they clean 365 times a year. They're cleaning every single day. The only difference is that the person that's cleaning 12 times is only sending 12 layers of that into their house. However, the person that's cleaning 365 days a year, they're cleaning every single day, they are sending 365 layers of that all over their house. And see, that's the problem with any sort of filter, is they're full of holes. That's exactly what, again, Dr. Alfred Zam was saying, is you pollute more than you clean. So with the Rainbow, are there any holes in water to block air movement? No. So you're at 100% cleaning efficiency 100% of the time. Whereas a vacuum cleaner, would you agree you start losing cleaning almost immediately from what you've seen?
Yes.
And again, that's why there's no difference between a Kirby and El Cheapo. You can go get whatever vacuum you want out there, but if you don't get a Rainbow, are you ever going to get rid of the dirt that's in your house?
No.
Yeah. And then ultimately at that point, I'll do my power nozzle 50 stroke test and all that. And then I finish up on, I put this one in there. Now this is in the back of the book for the book that's in here. But I moved it over to this part of the book because at this point, I just kind of recap everything that I've shown them inside of the house. And so let's just recap. Traditional bags and filter vacuums must allow air passage, which means dirty, unhealthy air is emitted back into your home environment. Agreed?
Yes.
However, with the unique water filtration with the Rainbow, you trap the dust permanently. That way it cannot return to your house. So we've solved the dust problem. Collected dirt, dust, and bacteria are stored between the vacuum between uses. Those bags are expensive. How much would it cost to replace the Rainbow full of water?
Nothing.
We don't hang on to water like an expensive bag or a filter. 20 years from now, a Rainbow smells exactly like it does today, and that's because 20 years from now you're putting fresh water in there. When it gets dirty, take it outside, dump it whichever's neighbor's yard you like the least. Fill it back up. But as bags and normal filters clog and lose efficiency, well, basically your efficiency continues to diminish. So basically the Rainbow, you never get the bacteria for that reason. But as bags and normal filters clog, you lose efficiency. We've solved the efficiency problem as well. You can't block air movement through Rainbow. And then the last one, when dust is pumped back out into the air, it settles all over your furnishing, your drapes, etc. Your electronics. You can't put a price on your health. But would you agree that everything would last a lot longer if you solved the dust problem? Electronics are going to last longer. It's like getting your knee down in the dirt outside and you're working in the yard and you get that ground down in there. You can brush so much stuff out, but you got to scrub it. So if you're keeping the dirt out of your nice white carpet, are you going to have to shampoo it as often?
No.
So it prolongs the life of your furnishing as well. You're not having to sit down on all that stuff and rub it down into the couch. Keep it out of your electronics. They last a lot longer. The coil cleaner on the refrigerator, double the life of the fridge, just keeping all that stuff out there, keeping it running efficiently. So the Rainbow, would you like to solve the problems associated with the traditional vacuum once and for all?
Sure.
See, you hired your vacuum to come clean for you when you came out, and when you hired the Bissell, how much of the dirt were you looking for Bissell to remove?
All of it.
All of it. Would you say Bissell's been doing her job?
No.
See, it's not for a lack of effort. I'm not trying to get you in trouble over here for cleaning, but if it's just having the right tool for the job, would you agree? See, if you had a lawnmower and you look back and 90% of your grass blades are still sticking back up, would you keep pushing that lawnmower with the dull blade?
No.
Doesn't make much sense to keep pushing the dull blade in the house if you're only picking up 5-10% of the stuff and pushing 90% of it down below the carpet. That's why they put it in by the yard and replace it by the pound. You're just pushing all the stuff down, and So basically, it's like the maid. I'm not trying to, if you have a maid, I'm not trying to pick on her, but if you had a real maid that came out to your house and she's not picking anything back up, she's half doing her job, she's sweeping the dirt under the rugs, under the couches, under the bedding, sweeping the dust behind the picture frames, and
Drinking.
how happy would you be? And then you go confront her, and that just really reminds you of all the times that she never showers. She's just stinking up your house every time she walks in there. And then she gets, like, the longer she's working, she's always getting saltier and saltier every time she works for you. She's just grabbing handfuls of dirt. She just starts throwing more and more of it all over your house, all over the furnishing, all over the kids, all over your electronics. What'd you get the maid?
Fire her.
Think it's time to fire the maid?
Fire.
Here, I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Guys, let's give Danny a big round of applause. Hey guys, we're gonna take a real fast 5 to 7 minute break. I know you guys need that. We're gonna do that on the break. You got a question, ask her in the break, okay? So we're gonna take 5 to 7 minutes.